somebody who is also maybe the minister of fun, but his formal title, Amadeus Findlay, his formal title at Blue Hive is the Director of Public Relations and Media. Amadeus, welcome.
Thank you, Tim. Good to have me on here.
Well, Amadeus, we're very excited. We have our Business After Hours coming up for the month of June, and Blue Hive is going to host us. But before we get into the Business After Hours specifics, want to give you a little bit of time to talk about what Blue Hive is all about. A year or two ago, we had on the show for a couple of segments Paul Hanlon, who is the president, CEO, and founder of Blue Hive. A great business here locally, but maybe you could tell our viewers what it is, because it's kind of a unique business.
Yeah, surely. We're primarily a trade show firm. You know, it's physical marketing, three-dimensional marketing, and we work with clients like Sony, Virgin, UGG Boots, Alternative Apparel. So it's great having those names coming to Worcester, first of all. And we also do corporate interiors, the idea being that if we can build really good high-end millwork for trade show exhibits, we can do the same thing for interiors. So if you've seen the bar at Worcester Country Club, we did that, and that was a great project. And also the sustainability hub that National Grid has down in the city. And then we wanted to complete that sort of marketing circle. Let's do digital as well. So now we offer websites, social media, app design, all those fun interactive things that bing in your pocket. So we're a one-touch marketing firm. And I always sort of say it's like the Willy Wonka's chocolate factory of marketing. It's all interactive and fun and three-dimensional. And nothing's the same every day.
Right.
And it's great having that in the city. From a Worcester standpoint, we can tell kids that, you know, there's great stuff happening here. I mean, our CEO you mentioned before is one of those stories. He's a local man. He left school at 16 and, you know, said, I'm staying in Worcester. I'm going to do this in this city. I'm going to build not only one company, but two he's done in his time.
Right.
So it's a great story for Worcester. And next Thursday, like you mentioned, we're having our Business After Hours event run with the Chamber. And we'd like people to come up and see just what Worcester can do.
And I think, you know, that Paul's story and what he's been able to do, I mean, for our viewers, you know, started out, I mean, really it's a form of manufacturing. You talked about millwork. I mean, that's an advanced form of carpentry. But literally, when people walk into hotels and they say, wow, or they walk into a restaurant or bar and they say, wow, it is the carpentry, it's the manufacturing, it's the presentation.
Absolutely.
And similarly with trade shows and booths, a lot of companies and businesses want to make an impact with potential customers or people, and so they turn to Blue Hive to help design what that location might look like.
Absolutely. And you know, the whole thing behind that is that if you want a brand to come to life from, you know, looking at a name on a piece of paper is one thing, but seeing it in 3 dimensions and seeing things move and interact, we're all about, you know, every sensation should be stimulated during our exhibit. So, you know, visual, oral, you know, you get everything, you know. And the same thing goes for us, that if we cannot brand ourselves well, how can we brand your clients? So our facility is, you know, like you said, it's a manufacturing hub, which is good for Worcester. It keeps in our traditions in the city, but also it shows potential clients that we can do this, you know. So when you come to visit next week, you'll just see how interactive the place is. But to touch back on Worcester again, we're very keen to, you know, use Worcester people as our employees or people who live in the local area, and to keep everything in-house. You know, it's very much pro-city. And we have a lot of kids that come up and have a look around, so we can encourage them to stay in the city.
And the location, for our viewers who might not be familiar, is?
It's up at the Airport Industrial Park and Coppage Drive, and you'll see you there next week, all being well. But it's great when we have visitors up and their eyes light up, and especially kids, they can just see how good the Blue Hive is for the city and that synergy we have. And so we work closely with people like the Chamber, yourself, Tim, on a one-on-one basis. And you know, we've seen some incredible stuff happening, and hopefully we'll continue to grow with the city and develop as the Worcester develops.
And you know, we talk about how manufacturing has kind of changed and evolved, and your and Blue Hive, I think, is kind of really parallels that, but in some ways is unique in the sense it's about presentation, it's about experience, it's about a company making a statement, it's about branding, but then how that then is integrated with this new social media medium, which is critical to any company organization in terms of how they're going to communicate with their customers, communicate with the public. And so you've kind of extended that, and you, as the minister of fun, but also director of PR media, that's taken it to the next level. It's how do you've got a great location, you've got a great place, brand, but then how do you use Instagram, how do you use, you know, Twitter, how do you use Facebook, how do you
Well, as you know yourself, you know, Worcester's becoming a very digital city. You've got Action Wood, there's great people down there in the city beside City Hall doing marvellous stuff. And so with this digital environment that we're realising that it's going to benefit Worcester, let's offer a service, but we do it at an affordable rate, which means that we can all benefit. Because if we all benefit in the city grows. And so it's identifying that market. It's also realizing that millennials, X generation, Y generation, are the ones who are coming up next, and they give you about 2.3 seconds, of their time on a cell phone before they get bored and go elsewhere. Now, getting a message on a cell phone in 2.3 seconds is quite demanding, and social media is one of the ways that does that. Your phone will bing, and you read what's happening, and so you go on.
Yeah.
Like there's app development, as you know, in the city that's encouraging that, and it's working for Worcester. So we've just identified that trend. We want to get involved so the city grows with us. And it's interesting that around 80% of customers are more likely to use a business that has a Facebook page. And our previous guest from Emerald Meats identified that. She's got a website as well as a Facebook page, and that's a selling tool. So unless you're using that, you're losing a part of your arsenal. The difficult thing is it has to be managed 24/7.
Right.
Unless you've got somebody on board keeping an eye on it, it kind of falls by the wayside. So we offer that, 24/7 management for an affordable rate to make Worcester a digital hub.
And it's so important, and it's amazing just to be able to see how that in and of itself has become an industry here locally with some strong roots, much of it fueled by our colleges and universities.
Yep.
But between Becker College and WPI, we have one of the largest concentrations of students majoring in video, digital gaming, app development, and that leads to a whole new sector, this innovation sector that is rapidly growing, that melds traditional sectors of all different kinds. Could be financial services, it could be healthcare, it could be higher ed, but even manufacturing.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone needs to get their voice out. Everyone has a story to tell, and let's help you get it out there. And you touched on a very good point. There's a lot of really talented young folk in this city. I'm genuinely surprised and happily surprised every day. There was a video which was shot by a graduate from one of the colleges, a drone video going over the highlights of the city from the sky. I couldn't believe the quality of production.
Actually, he's a high school student
He's
going to college.
No,
yeah, I
well,
believe
look at
that's
that.
yeah.
And give that kid a shout out. He's
Worcester
a very
Public
talented
Schools.
boy. Exactly. And we had that discussion earlier on this morning at the Chamber breakfast event.
Right, with the superintendent.
Yeah.
But we had asked the question of Joan earlier. So how did you come to Worcester?
Well, I came to America with a master's degree in American history, so I'm fascinated by the place. So coming here was a natural transition, but I think what's more of an interesting story was what got me so invested in the city was that I was at Connor's bar one night. Hi, Brendan. And I was talking to a fellow beside me. He said, "Why have you come to Worcester? It's not a good place." And I thought, I grew up in Belfast, and if that wasn't a good place, and Worcester, by comparison, is a paradise. And so I thought, what's the attitude about? Why would he tell a foreigner this? So I got invested in the city and realized that he was wrong for all intents and purposes.
There's a certain segment of the population here that no matter what happens, they get nothing good to say. But that's changing.
Yeah,
and that's changed dramatically over the last 10 or 15 years.
And so I looked at this and thought, well, let's reinvigorate the city. Let's work together, because as an outsider, I can kind of see what you've got. So we're investing our time between myself and the company in re-energizing Worcester. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be a thorn in the city's side, or hopefully help for as long as you need me. Right. An asset, yeah. But just coming here, I was struck by the quality. Worcester's reputation does precede it internationally. It is the second biggest city in the region. We can't ignore that.
No.
And as Boston gets saturated, I thought, I don't want to go to Boston. That's not the place to grow and develop. Worcester is the place to grow and develop.
Well, that's a great way to wrap it up here on the Chamber Exchange. Amadeus Findlay from Blue Hive. Join us next week at the Business After Hours. Go on the Chamber website if you want to learn more.
Before I go, hold on. We got a...
Uh-oh, Buzz, logo.
Oh, here, get in this camera. This is Buzz. This is our mascot. If you come up next week, we'll give you a Buzz doll, and you can get photographs taken with Buzz, and you'll have fun.
That's a wrap. Thank you.